Hey everyone, I'm Imogen and I'm 29 years old. So, a while back, I went through a divorce from my abusive husband, Trevor. I was stuck in a really toxic marriage, and sometimes you need a nudge from someone to break free from such situations. Surprisingly, that nudge came from none other than my mother in law, Kiki. Trevor and I had an unexpected start at the Cheesecake Factory. It was funny because we shared the same birthday and we both happened to be celebrating there. Trevor had this charming look with long, slicked back hair and an adorable face. My friends pushed me to go talk to him and get his number, so I did. That's how we started chatting. Trevor, well, he was a man of few words. Quite the mystery, you know. He had this way of keeping his emotions close to his chest, not opening up much. But strangely, there was this unspoken understanding between us, a sort of unspoken connection that felt comfortable. After a year of dating, we decided to tie the knot. We bought a house, we were both working, and things seemed pretty stable. About a year into our marriage, we felt it was the right time to start a family. When I found out I was pregnant, I was over the moon with joy. I shared the news with Trevor and he was ecstatic. We even had a gender reveal party. It was a baby boy. Trevor had always dreamt of having a son and he couldn't have been happier. He started preparing the baby's nursery, building the crib and talking about all the wonderful father-son moments he envisioned. But then our world shattered when I experienced a miscarriage. I called 911 while Trevor was away. When he reached the hospital, the doctors gave us the devastating news that we had lost our baby boy. It hit us both hard, especially Trevor. We supported each other through the tough times, and a year later we decided to try again. I became pregnant once more, and it was another baby boy. 5 months into the pregnancy, history repeated itself with another miscarriage. Trevor, who had built up so much hope, was heartbroken for the second time. I battled depression, unable to get out of bed, but Trevor didn't seem to notice. He was lost in his own grief, and it created a distance between us. He started sleeping in the guest room, and our communication had gone down the drains. I figured he needed space and time to heal, so I gave him that. However, a month after my second miscarriage, Trevor lost his job. I still remember the day he came home after that. I heard the sound of breaking glass and immediately rushed into Trevor's room, only to find a shattered plant pot. "What happened? Are you okay, Trevor?" "Okay, Imogen. I just got fired." "I'm so sorry, baby, but sometimes life is not fair, honey. You'll find another job. You've got a strong skill set." "Baby? You were calling me baby and offering support as if everything is just fine between us?" "Trevor, we're going through a rough patch, that's all. It will pass." "No, Imogen, it won't. Since the day I married you, it has been like everything in my life has gone wrong." "What do you mean?" "I don't know if you want to hear this, but it feels like this marriage is cursed. 2 miscarriages, losing my job of 4 years. It's like the universe doesn't want us to build a family or move forward. I'm just so tired." "Trevor, that is not true. We love each other, and we entered this marriage together. Every marriage has its ups and downs. Don't worry, I have my job, and I'll take care of everything until you find a new one. Just leave me alone, okay? Get out of my room." It was the most we had talked about in the last few months. Hearing Trevor call our marriage cursed felt like a stab in the heart, but I understood he was overwhelmed. Maybe it was my love for him that made me empathetic. Losing 2 babies and his job had hit him hard. It was like a never-ending string of bad luck. I decided to give him some space. The next day, I headed to work without asking Trevor about his plans for the day or if he was going to stay home. When I returned, Trevor was on the couch, an almost empty 6-pack of beer beside him. I tried to talk to him, asking how he was feeling, but all I got was silence. I pressed him to answer, and he said, "I'm okay. I'm going to go to sleep now." That's all I got from him. It had been almost a week since Trevor lost his job. Each day when I left for work, he was planted on the couch, glued to the TV, and when I returned, the scene remained unchanged except for the growing pile of empty alcohol bottles. I couldn't help but worry about him. One evening, unable to ignore my concern any longer, I finally talked to him. "Hi there, how you feeling? Did you manage to have lunch?" "Yeah, I ordered some Chinese takeout." "Good choice. Actually, I wanted to discuss something with you. I understand it's been tough and you're going through a lot. However, I'm concerned about the amount you're drinking, Trevor." "I'll decide what I have to do. Just because you're the one bringing in the money doesn't mean you can dictate everything in this house." "Honey, that's not what I meant. I've been thinking, given everything we've been through, perhaps we could consider therapy, either as a couple or individually. Whatever you're comfortable with. I've been struggling too."
Can you stop making yourself out to be the only victim here? I lost those babies too, you know. I need some air. I'm heading out.
I found myself trapped in a cycle of difficult conversations with Trevor. No matter how hard I tried to be empathetic and understanding, he continued to shut me out, invalidating my feelings. It was a struggle and I didn't know what to do. Trevor wasn't ready to accept the help I wanted to provide. Instead, he often said hurtful things, making me feel like it was my fault for our problems. It was all too much to bear and I felt lost. But then, one day, my phone rang, and it was my mother-in-law's name, Kiki. "Hi, Imogen." "Hey, Mom. It has been a while. How are you?" "Yes, dear, it has been long. I called you regarding my son, by the way." "Oh, yeah. He must have told you about the job." "Yes, he did. He also told me how you were stopping him from spending money on himself." "What?" "Well, Trevor tells me everything. Imogen, can you please stop creating a toxic environment for him at home? He has already been through a lot." "Toxic? You must be kidding me." "Well, Trevor told me how you don't talk to him. Asked him to sleep in another room, and you've been making your own rules since he lost the job. Bullying him for it and not talking to him. You are an adult, Imogen. Behave like one. You are his wife. Be supportive." "He told you all these lies, Kiki? Really? You have got it all so wrong. Trevor is at home drinking all day. He is the one who decided to move out of our bedroom, and I even offered to take him to therapy, but he just doesn't want to." "Imogen, don't call Trevor an alcoholic. He barely drinks." "I know. That's why I was so concerned about him. I don't know what happened to him." "Imogen, you are not taking care of my son. Do I have to lecture you on marriage now? I wish he would just leave you. Poor kid." "I can't believe you're saying this. Why don't you trust me? Trevor's never been like that. I wish I was there to take care of him. You know what? Why don't you come over for a week? Check up on your son yourself and see how he's doing. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Trevor will be glad to see some positivity in the house." "Sure, whatever you say." I was furious with Trevor for lying to his mom about me when he was the one keeping his issues to himself. At this point, anger was my predominant emotion. Kiki came over to our place, and just as I anticipated, Trevor wasn't thrilled about it. On the morning of Kiki's arrival, Trevor left the house and spent the day with his friends. While he was away, Kiki took over the kitchen and started preparing his favorite meal for him. "I doubt you've been feeding my son well." "Well, I made him breakfast and dinner." "I don't get what's wrong with him. Why did he leave just as I came? My son, I'm just so sickened by the thought that he can't spend a minute in this house because of you." "Kiki, are we really doing this again? These are facts, Imogen. I don't know what you're doing wrong. Are you not giving him enough attention? Is this about the baby? I just think this whole marriage was a blunder." "You don't have the right to pass judgment on my marriage.
You're here for a week as Trevor's mother, but this is our life. Oh, honey, don't worry. I guess I'll have you out of the house by the end of this week. My son needs someone to open his eyes. Kiki was super sure her son was right. I decided not to argue anymore. I thought she'd figure it out eventually, so that night, Trevor did not come home for dinner and Kiki called him a bunch of times, but he finally picked up and yelled that he would be late. When Trevor got back home, Kiki tried to cheer him up by telling him she had cooked his beloved crab cakes. Trevor was not in the mood for food, though. Kiki, being the persistent type, pushed him a bit. He stormed into the kitchen and dumped the crab cakes she had made into the trash. Then he spotted a fresh batch of brownies on the counter and tossed them out as well. I knew Trevor wasn't in the best frame of mind, but I couldn't help but speak. If you didn't want to eat, you could have been polite. I don't care about stupid crab cakes and brownies, okay? She was preparing those for you all evening from scratch. Also, food in the trash? Are you serious? If you care so much about the brownies, why don't you pick them up from the trash and eat them? The next day, I left for work, wanting to steer clear of their mother-son drama. When I got back, it was clear there had been some tension between them, but I didn't bother asking. When I was home and not at work, Trevor acted like a rebellious teenager, disrespecting both me and his mom. He would say hurtful things about Kiki's character and his dad leaving, and I felt bad for Kiki, even though she thought I was the problem. One morning when I woke up, Trevor and Kiki were fighting. I went into the living room. Trevor, why don't you come with me to the yoga session I have booked for us? It would be good for both of us. Yoga? Seriously, Mom? You think I have time for that crap? It's just an hour, Trevor. It can help relieve some stress. It can also help you with your anger, son. Anger? You want to talk about anger, Mom? Let's talk about how you ruined my childhood with your loose character. The reason my dad left you was I was angry about it. But did you do something about it too? Trevor, please don't bring up your father. This is about us. When are you leaving again? Trevor, who are you? Why are you being so rude to me? Well, this is me now. I have to go help my friend fix something. I'll see you later. Trevor left and slammed the door in our faces. Look what you have done to my son. This is what happens when you keep someone in a cage. Can't you see what's really going on? I've had enough of both of you. First, Trevor won't talk to me for some inexplicable reason, and now you're laying all the blame on me, assuming you've got everything figured out. I'm off to work. When I got back from work, things were a total mess. Kiki had her bags packed, and both Trevor and Kiki were there. I was seriously confused about what was going on. Wait, Kiki, I thought you were planning to leave at the end of the week. What's happening? I don't know. I went for a walk, and when I came back, I found all this. Mom, you were leaving. I got you a flight ticket back home, and I paid for it with my card. I also took some cash from your purse. It's your ticket, not mine. But why, son? I'm your mother. Why are you pushing me away? You're trying to control my life, Mom, telling me not to drink, to get my act together. I am a grown-up now. What's wrong with you? I only want what's best for you. Just like when you dated Steve after Dad left and he used to beat me up and you ignored all of it. Trevor, enough! Why can't you let it go? Is that girl putting all these things in your head? To be rebellious? I saw her outside with you the other day. What girl? Shut up, Mom. Why do you have to open that stupid mouth of yours all the time? Trevor grabbed an empty beer bottle within reach and tried to aim it at Kiki. She managed to dodge it, but she hurt her hand and her finger was bleeding a bit. I couldn't stay silent any longer seeing another woman in distress like that. Trevor, that's enough. She's your mom. Get out and don't come back until I tell you to. Stay wherever you want to, but don't come here. I was really baffled by what had just gone down. It was all still sinking in.
and there was Kiki shedding tears. I grabbed a glass of water for her and wiped her wound clean. Then I got her seated. My mind was buzzing with questions that needed answers. Trevor never mentioned anything about his mom's boyfriend, Steve, or her past relationships. It was like he kept a lot hidden from me. I knew Kiki had been through a divorce, but she never talked about any of her boyfriends. And this mystery girl she mentioned. I had this gut feeling that the answers I was about to get wouldn't be easy to swallow. Please forgive me, Imogen. I'm sorry I treated you this way, especially knowing what's been going on. Well, Kiki, I need the truth now. What's happening? To begin with, Trevor has been cheating on you. What? With who? How long has this been going on? I don't know all the details, but the other day, when he wasn't home and you were at work, that girl dropped by. I had a conversation with her. She didn't even seem to know Trevor was a married man. Wow. Now it makes sense where he was all those nights. I trusted him and he did this to me. Trevor's dad cheated on me too. I blame myself for the way Trevor is now. I had some abusive boyfriends and I neglected Trevor when he needed me. What's done is done. You did neglect Trevor. But that's no excuse for what he's doing now. You've seen the way he behaves lately, and what he did today was way out of line. I'm not making excuses for Trevor. I can't even recognize him anymore. He needs help. He's becoming the person he once feared. He has become a monster. From one woman to another, Imogen, I'm begging you to leave him. He's abused you and cheated on you, and now he's out there ruining his own life. You have a future ahead of you. I'm so sorry for my son. You should talk with him. You can stay here for another 2 days until you have your actual flight. I guess Trevor has a place he can comfortably stay. So Kiki stayed with me for another day, and we didn't hear from Trevor. No calls, no texts, no apologies. To be honest, I knew the end of this relationship was coming somehow. The way Trevor had been acting and everything, I should have seen the signs. I was beating myself up and blaming myself for Trevor's behavior. I thought the reason for my not being able to give him children led to all this. When Kiki left, I thought about things for a couple of days before reaching out to Trevor. I knew my life would significantly change. I was my own sense of strength. I talked to my parents and I was close with them, but this would have absolutely broken their hearts. I did plan on telling them later, but at that time I decided to confront Trevor first. I called him and asked him to come over, and he did. Kiki told me everything, Trevor. You've been cheating on me despite all we've been through. Instead of being there for each other, you pushed me away and mistreated me. Imogen, I'm not scared of you. Your attitude, that's exactly what I mean. And with the incident with your mom, you need some help, Trevor. Whatever. You've changed so much. You used to be quiet, but this anger, where's it coming from? I wanted to start a family and you couldn't give me that. I lost my job. It's like you're bringing bad luck and then you blame me for being angry? Honestly, I don't want to be with you anymore, Trevor. You're not the person I fell for. So, you're leaving me? That's right. Who's going to handle groceries and other essentials? I don't have a job. I can't even pay for gas. I can't take care of stuff right now. You're such a man-child. Seriously? You expect me to do all that while you're out there cheating on me and treating me like dirt? Come on, Imogen, I'll end it with her if that's what you want. Seriously? Do you think I'm that naive? Am I your money machine or what? It's over, Trevor. After parting ways with Trevor, I found myself on a new and unexpected path. Divorces are never easy. Kiki gave me a call after the divorce. She informed me that Trevor had been crashing at her place and that his girlfriend had broken up with him. Life has this funny way of turning the tables sometimes. I remembered how Kiki had once vowed to open her son's eyes, but it turned out that her own eyes were the ones that truly opened. I decided to set up my own place, and let me tell you, It feels like a fresh start. The Trevor chapter had its share of complications and it left its mark. So I decided to seek help and started therapy to work through the issues and become a better version of myself. In one of my therapy sessions with Alicia, she brought up something. She casually suggested the idea of me becoming a single parent through adoption. Her words stayed with me even after our session was over. Just last week, I did something pretty brave. I went to an adoption center, filled out some forms, and started training to become an adoptive parent. I'm really excited about this new chapter in my life. It's giving me hope and making me look forward to what's coming. Life hasn't always been easy, but it's made me stronger and more determined. Going down the adoption path feels like a chance to do something really good for a kid and experience the joys of being a parent, all in my own way. Hello, my name's Nessa and I'm 26 years old. I just got married. It was the best thing that happened to me this year. But while I got married, my father-in-law, Jerry, decided to divorce his cruel wife, Lily. And he announced it at my wedding. While the normal reaction would be to get angry for stealing the spotlight, my husband and I were overjoyed with Jerry's decision. Let me tell you how this happened. My husband, Ryan, and I met when we were in middle school. I know. We've known each other for a very, very long time. The thing is, we only started dating in our senior year of high school. We were best friends before we started dating, and so it was such a natural transition into a relationship. Our parents never knew of each other because we somehow never bothered to have each other over at our places. We always met up at school or the parks. The first time we did introduce each other was about 4 months into dating. My parents had heard a lot about Ryan, but never actually got to meet him. So obviously they were very glad to meet him. Before meeting his parents, Ryan did tell me that his parents, especially his mom, were a handful. There's a reason I've always been hesitant about telling my parents about you. What is it? My parents aren't what you'd expect. What? Are they aliens? They might as well be, if I have to be honest. Oh, that bad. No, okay. I may be exaggerating, but my dad's amazing. He's this really happy-go-lucky guy that loves to make a good joke. My mom, on the other hand, yeah, she's kind of a handful, to put it lightly. I'm definitely excited to meet your dad, but should I be worried about your mom? Honestly, yeah. But no matter what she says or does, it won't change anything between us. You just keep being yourself and we'll be fine. Okay, I'm scared, but I'm going to trust that this won't change us. I promise it won't change us. Ryan was right to warn me. Meeting his parents was beyond awkward. His dad was nothing like he'd described. Jerry was very closed off. He was quiet and reserved. Even if I directed a question towards him, he would answer in one-word replies. Ryan's mother, Lily, on the other hand, was the stuff nightmares are made of. She was loud and obnoxious. She tried many, many times to invade my personal space and privacy. She had no filter and just said the first things that came to her mind. Ryan had to politely ask her to shut up every time, while his dad, Jerry, looked at Lily with this look of utter exhaustion. After that first meeting, Ryan was obviously embarrassed. He apologized profusely and promised me that he wouldn't mind if I never wanted to see his parents ever again. I wasn't going to do that, though. The family was family. They had their quirks, but they always had your back. I wasn't going to rob Ryan of that kind of support. The day after I visited Ryan's parents, Ryan called me to tell me that his dad wanted to meet us at our local cafe. I was surprised because honestly, I couldn't imagine the quiet man from yesterday ever wanting to speak up. But I did go there to meet him. Hey, son. Hi, Nessa. Hi, Dad. Hi, Jerry. Why the sudden secret meeting? Unless Oh God, is Mom coming? No, I wanted to meet you guys here for that reason. I wanted to apologize to Nessa. Me? But why? Just for the way things went yesterday. I know that the way Lily behaved was completely unacceptable, and my not saying anything either wasn't good. I would have stepped up, but yesterday I was just at my limit with her. Oh, it's okay. There's nothing for you to apologize for. You did your best and you've made up for it. Son, you picked a good one. I like her. So how long have you two known each other? Since we were in 7th grade. Seriously? And how come we've never heard of this beautiful and amazing woman? You saw why last night, Dad. Touché. After that, we kind of just hung out for a while. Jerry did turn out to be a little like what Ryan had described him to be. He just looked very tired, and I really just wished the best for him. He didn't deserve somebody like Lily. Of course, I never said that to either Ryan or Jerry, but I did hope at least one of them was thinking the same as me for their own sanity. In our 2nd year, we had to move out of our dorms, so we moved in together. Let me tell you, living with Ryan was just like living with my best friend, maybe because he was my best friend first. Anyway, it was an amazing shift because we got to spend even more time together. Throughout college, Jerry would set up these secret meetings for us to hang out and catch up. At first, I was nervous, but the more I hung out with Jerry, the more comfortable I got. Like, I could poke fun at him without feeling shy at all. He was actually turning out to be a great guy. After we graduated, Ryan and I waited another 2 years to get our financial stability and settle into adulthood fully. Once we had gotten to a comfortable place, Ryan proposed to me. Obviously, I was over the moon about it. We remained engaged for a whole year because we had to juggle wedding planning, work, and budgeting. Thankfully, Jerry had our backs. He didn't tell Lily anything because none of us wanted her to try to sabotage our big day. But when we did send the invitations out, Lily was furious. We told her it was going to be a small event, so there was no need for an extra hand. I don't know how, but she calmed down and let the topic go. Then finally came the day of my wedding. The first half of the ceremony went off without a hitch. It was honestly a magical moment, walking down the aisle in front of all of our guests and then standing next to Ryan, who was crying. I shed a lot of tears of my own too. Everyone teared up when we read our vows and cheered when we were officially pronounced husband and wife. The only person who looked out of place was Lily. While she wasn't very vocal about her disapproval of the wedding, she definitely did some things to let everyone know about it. She was constantly rolling her eyes, sighing really loud, and at one point during my vows, she even snickered. But Ryan and I just overlooked her antics because we knew the day was about us. When it was time for the reception, everyone arrived looking immaculate. Ryan and I were showered with congrats and praises. We kicked off the reception with a dance and drinks. Needless to say, everyone was happy. Well, except you know who. At least this time, everyone had the choice to steer clear of her, so she mostly stood in a corner all by herself. Jerry tried to get her to join the dance floor, but she adamantly refused. Finally, it was time for toasts. All the guests were seated at their tables. Ryan was the first to get up and give a toast to us, and I followed next. I think it was safe to say that both of us were in tears. Then went our maid of honor and best man. I mean, up until it was Lily's turn, I was a mess of tears and my stomach hurt from laughing. However, as the time drew nearer for Lily to make her toast, a part of me began to panic. She had constantly tried to sabotage this wedding. It was pure genius of Ryan and I's part to hire security and get them to keep an eye on her. Well, when the time finally came for Lily to speak, Ryan and I held each other's hand and squeezed tight. I was glad that I wasn't the only one feeling nervous about this. I didn't want Lily to say something that would get her kicked out because I knew she loved Ryan and I knew that this event meant a lot to her because she had always dreamed of going to her child's wedding. So literally, for her sake, I hoped she didn't mess it up. Hello everyone, I'm so glad to be here. For the few of you who don't know, I'm Ryan's mother. It's truly a pleasure to be here attending my baby's wedding. Although if Nessa had allowed me to help her plan this wedding, I would have definitely invited a lot more people. But you know what? It's their big day, so I'll let it be. Anyway, I'm happy that my son's happy. I wish he would have found someone a little, prettier. No need for the gasps. We were all thinking it anyway, but here's to us welcoming the ugliest member into our family. No, give me the mic. I can't let Lily say something like that. That's not very nice. But Ryan and Nessa, I truly am happy for both of you. Nessa, you are a brilliant and strong woman. I mean, you've dealt with everything that Lily has thrown at you with so much grace. It's crazy. I would have not invited her, but you are such a gracious young lady that you don't deserve this kind of treatment. I'm also really happy to see my son so happy. It's been a while since I saw that, and clearly not everyone can appreciate that properly. So I don't know about welcoming the ugliest member into our family, but I do know that we're letting go of one. Here, in my hand, are divorce papers for Lily. What? You can't do that? I'm sick and tired of the way you've been treating Nessa. I don't want to have to deal with you anymore. And I think Ryan and Nessa would be more than happy to let you go too. Actually, I think everyone here will be happy to watch you leave. Am I right? The crowd erupted in cheers. Lily looked like she was going to cry. Jerry smirked as he walked over to her and threw the divorce papers on the table in front of her. Lily tried to grab his arm to yell at him, but he cleverly sidestepped her and made his way back to his seat. Ryan and we were gobsmacked. I literally can't think of any other word to describe what we felt at the moment. For me, I was initially really hurt when Lily said what she said. I was already signaling to security to get her out, but to see Jerry stand up for me and slap her with a divorce, I was stunned. Ryan was in the same boat. He went from angry to shocked. Although at that moment I was sure he was also secretly happy. Lily began screaming about how I had brainwashed everyone in the room. She began yelling that she was warning everyone and that they would live to regret their mistakes. She, and kid you not, climbed onto the table to make her points. Obviously, we weren't going to let that fly, so Ryan called for security to escort her out. But obviously, Lily wouldn't just leave without a fight. She began kicking and thrashing about to make it even harder. The security guards had literally to drag her out of the hall. I was honestly scared of her in that moment. Never in my life had I ever met anyone that insane. Everyone just watched in amusement and fear as Lily's screaming only got louder as she got further away from us. I even saw a bunch of people filming her. I was embarrassed for her, but at the same time, I was glad she finally got what she deserved. The rest of the wedding went off really well. Ryan and I didn't even realize just how tense we were because of his mother until she left. I mean, suddenly we felt lighter and we were able to enjoy our own wedding. At some point, I did approach Jerry to ask him if he was doing all right, and he gave me the most enthusiastic yes. I was glad he finally looked happy. By the time the wedding was done and Jerry and I had reached back home, we were way too exhausted to really discuss any of the things that transpired at our wedding. We invited Jerry to spend the night over at our place because we were sure he didn't want to go back home to Lily. The next morning, the three of us talked over coffee. Good morning, Jerry. Did you sleep well? Ah, here come the newlyweds. Yes, I did sleep well. Did you guys? Yep, we slept so well that we don't even remember falling asleep. Ha, that's good. But I do have something to ask you guys. Yes? Well, I was kind of awake for a while last night because I was thinking about a lot of things, and I don't know if I overstepped and caused a scene on your big day. So I'm sorry for. Oh no, it's all okay. In fact, I was really happy that you stood up for me. Yeah, and we don't mind a scene, especially when it's to remove the most toxic person in our lives. Okay, I'm glad that you didn't have a problem with it. I was just tired. I've been covering for her for so long. I've been dealing with her nonsense for even longer. Why did you even stay with her, Dad? If I'm being really honest, I was going to leave your mom, but then she got pregnant. I didn't leave because I didn't want you growing up without a father. Plus, I always wanted a kid. I tried my best to give you a childhood that didn't include any of your mother's stupid antics and ideologies, and then I figured that if I could stick it out for so long, I could continue. I mean, I was used to her, and change was terrifying. But then you guys got together and your mother's behavior got uglier, and I didn't think it was even possible. That's why I'm sorry I had to take a step on your wedding. You have nothing to apologize for. You did your best all throughout my life. You sacrificed so much for me. The least I could do was allow you to shed off your biggest burden on a day when I get to start a family of my own. I don't know when, but at some point during the conversation, I started tearing up. I mean, Jerry is just the nicest guy. I can't believe everything he'd put up with Lily for so long. Once you get used to the toxicity, normalcy seems scary, but I was actually, from the bottom of my heart, really happy for Jerry. Jerry and Ryan shared an emotional hug before the three of us decided to get dressed up and head out for breakfast. We enjoyed breakfast with Jerry. I was finally able to see the happy-go-lucky man that Jerry had always described to me. It was actually crazy to see how much Lily had robbed him of. We returned back home with smiles and laughter, but that was pretty short-lived. We saw Lily sitting at our doorstep looking furious. I could sense how all three of our moods just dropped. We were glad she was going to be out of our lives, but at the same time, none of us really wanted to deal with her this soon. I guess it was better to get things done sooner rather than later. We parked our car and made our way over to her. We let her in and sat down to talk. Before any three of us could say a word, Lily glared and pointed her finger at me. You are the reason my precious family is falling apart. Lily, I didn't even save it. You've been nothing but a thorn in my side. It wasn't enough to steal one man in my life. You had to take both of them. Mom, do you even know how insane you sound? Look at what you've made him into. I've had enough of this. If you came here to yell and blame Nessa, clearly yesterday taught you nothing. I didn't only come here for Nessa. I came to talk to you as well. I mean, what did you even think you were going to achieve by pulling a stunt like that? A stunt? Yeah, you call me ugly and threw fake divorce papers. Get back home and I will have a word with you. Lily, that was no stunt. That was all real. I am asking to divorce you. I'm sick and tired of you, and I meant every word I said yesterday. You're divorcing me because I'm ugly? You spent years pining over me? You know I'm not ugly. Besides, if Ryan can stay with Nessa, you can definitely overlook my appearance. Do you really not hear how obscene you sound? You may not be ugly on the outside, but you definitely have the ugliest personality. You are mean, entitled, and just embarrassing to be around. I'm glad I pined after you because I got Ryan, but I do regret staying with you even after Ryan moved out. You can't be serious right now. Please don't leave me. I tried my hardest to deal with everything. I was ready to deal with you for the rest of my life. But seeing how happy and in love Ryan and Nessa were made me realize that I was sacrificing my happiness for literally nothing. Your little speech against Nessa only cemented it for me. I wanted to wait until we got back home, but I just couldn't. Mom, none of us want you here. Could you please leave? I will make your life hell, Nessa. Believe me, this is all your fault and I will make you pay for it. That's enough now. I'll come pick up some of my stuff tomorrow, but after that I expect you to contact me only through my lawyer. Goodbye. I was really relieved that Lily left without causing much of a scene. I was upset that she really had the nerve to come over to our place only to yell at me, especially when I really did nothing. But Jerry, Ryan, and I decided we needed to unwind, so we didn't really talk about it. Instead, we settled down to watch a TV series and just enjoyed laughing and spending time with each other. That night, Jerry did ask us if we had overstepped by assuming that we'd let him stay with us until his divorce was finalized, but we assured him that he had never overstepped and that we were going to be by his side until the end of it all. I mean, it was always just one thing after another with Jerry. I really was grateful that I was lucky enough to have such a good man in my life. The next few weeks were filled with trips to the courthouse. Lily tried her best to get a lot of Jerry's assets, but Jerry and her had signed a prenup, so it really was stupid of her to try and get some of it. It just ended up costing her much more than she would have gotten. Lily kept coming over to our place to harass us. After the divorce was finalized, we had to get the police involved, and eventually, with their advice, we got a restraining order against Lily. It was sad to see what Lily had been reduced to. But karma always comes to bite you back. Right now, Jerry's moving back into his house. Lily has moved out and taken her things with her to God knows where. Ryan and I are helping Jerry move out and settle into his home again. Ryan is taking his parents' divorce much easier than one would have expected. His mother's treatment of me only solidified his distaste for her, and his dad standing up for me made him love his dad even more. At the end of the day, all of us are happier now. This entire experience only showed me just how much influence a person can exert on your mental state. So make sure to always surround yourself with the people who care for you and lift you up. Hello there, people. My name is Winter, and we have my husband Kyle helping me write our story for you. Like many of you, the universe gave me a bad mother-in-law when I got engaged to Kyle. These events happened before our marriage, but I will refer to Kyle's mom, Holly, as my mother-in-law for convenience. Kyle's dad, Archie, is also in the story, but trust me, he is a very good guy. So, when I first got with Kyle, Holly disapproved of our relationship. She's actually a very greedy woman and doesn't like that her future daughter-in-law has a simple lifestyle. She was downright rude to me and even tried to sabotage our relationship a lot of times. Thankfully, Kyle knew her personality and didn't let her meddle in our relationship. Things changed when she discovered that I belonged to an influential family. My dad is a rich businessman, so we have lots of money, but we are not people who like to flash their wealth and have a luxurious life. When Holly found out the truth about me, she suddenly became friendly, but I always maintain my distance. I do have a repulsion for people who cozy up to rich people to get stuff from them. Holly turned out to be one of them. When Kyle and I got engaged, his parents were over the moon. His mom especially was very happy with our engagement. She said, "Wow, Kyle, I must say I am really impressed with you. You managed to get such a wealthy girl like Winter." "Seriously, Mom? That's what you have to say? Her wealth is the only thing that caught your eye?" "Oh no, I'm sure Winter is a nice girl too, but her wealth really makes her an exception. I'm so happy you two got engaged. Actually, I was thinking about hosting a party to announce your engagement. I want to tell the world that my son is engaged. What do you think, Archie?" "Yeah, I would like to organize a party too. You can count it as a small engagement party on our end. You don't have to spend money on this. We will arrange everything. It will be a great way to introduce Winter to everyone before the wedding.
I think that's a great idea. It will be difficult to talk to everyone on the day of the wedding. Through this party, I'll be able to know a lot of people better. It sounds exciting.
I agree with Winter. It does sound exciting. Count us in. I'll be happy to introduce my fiancé to everyone.
To be honest, I had doubts about Holly's idea.
I know Archie meant well, but Holly looked a little too excited for the party. Also, there was another problem looming on my head. My dad had found out something about Holly and I didn't know what to do with that information. It wasn't a small thing that I could ignore. Yet, I didn't know if I should do anything about what I knew about Holly. My dilemma was eating me alive for days. With the date of the party getting near, I was really in the rut about what to do. That was until my dear mother-in-law texted me one day. What she demanded from me really pissed me off. She said, "Just so you know, you need to bring a nice gift to this party. It will be a great way to step into our family. You need to show your status to everyone by bringing an expensive gift and giving it to me." What? But why, Holly? I thought it was just a party to announce our engagement and upcoming marriage. I didn't know that I was supposed to bring a gift. Kyle didn't even tell me about this.
Kyle is stupid and doesn't know the etiquette. We are throwing you a big party, Holly. Since you come from a rich family, the least you can do is bring an expensive gift. Mind you, it better be the most expensive thing I have ever laid my eyes on. I will know if you try to be cheap. I won't accept a measly gift from someone who's marrying my son. I still don't understand what connection an expensive gift has to me marrying your son. Why should I give you a gift to marry your son? Shouldn't you be the one giving me and Kyle a wedding present? Stop trying to be a smartass, Winter. You think you're so clever? Well, you are a freaking bimbo. I am only allowing my son to marry you because you are rich. So if you want to make sure your marriage works out, you better keep me happy. So, you're saying that if I don't give you an expensive gift, you will try and ruin my marriage? You can bet on it, Winter. And I don't want an expensive gift. I want the most expensive gift that you can buy. You better keep that in mind when you go shopping. Don't give me a reason to ruin your and my son's happiness. In no universe could I ever have imagined this happening. My soon-to-be mother-in-law was threatening to ruin my marriage if I didn't give her an expensive gift. She did it with so much confidence that would put anyone to shame. I mean, she talked as if it was her birthright. She acted like Kyle was marrying me only because she allowed it to happen. The most shocking part of this ordeal was the fact that Kyle had no idea about Holly's demands. That was pretty clear to me when she talked to me. If Holly thought that I could get scared of her and do as she pleases, she was dead wrong. But I wasn't going to tell her that. I said, "Okay then, Holly. If a good gift is so important to you, I will bring one for you, and I will make sure it will be the most expensive gift you will ever get." There, it wasn't that hard now, was it? Keep up this good behavior and I can guarantee you that your marriage will last. To stay in this family, you need to keep me happy, not Kyle. He usually does what I say, so mind it. I will keep that in mind, Holly. Thanks for letting me know about this gift business beforehand. It will give me plenty of time to arrange for the best. Well, you better start working on it fast. I'll give you some hints. I usually prefer Cartier over Tiffany, but as long as it's one of a kind, I will be happy. People need to know how well my son is marrying. God, they would be so jealous. Anyway, see you at the party, Winter. Bye. With that, Holly was off to dream about the most expensive gift that I was going to give her. I knew that her call was the end of my dilemma.
I would not stay quiet about what I know. It was a perfect opportunity for me to one-up Holly in the best way possible. But first, I needed Kyle on my side. Kyle was well aware of the fact that his mom is a greedy piece of shit, so I doubted that he would mind my plans. Still, I needed to tell him everything and get his confirmation. That night, when Kyle came back from work, I nabbed him right away. He was a little confused as to what was so urgent. But he didn't protest much. I sat him down and showed him all the texts I exchanged with Holly. He read through the text and was absolutely furious with Holly. He said, "That's it. This woman has really crossed all limits today. God, I'm so embarrassed, Winter. I'm so sorry my mom talked to you this way. I swear I will have proposed to you even if she didn't approve." Don't worry, Kyle. Your little warning about Holly had me prepared for this. Plus, I know you really love me and won't drop me just because your mom tells you to. You are in the clear. Mom has truly turned into a very greedy woman, Winter. I mean, I know she can be demanding, but hell, this is a very different level of entitlement. I think we should talk to Dad about this. He wouldn't tolerate her disrespecting you. Actually, I don't think that would be enough for me. I have something else to tell you, Kyle. I was kind of on the fence about what to do with this information, but I guess Holly solved the dilemma for me. It's actually about Holly, and I think you should know this too. I went ahead and told Kyle everything I knew about Holly. He listened to me and looked absolutely horrified. He had no idea what the true face of Holly was. He was furious and immediately agreed to take part in the plan I had. I guess this is where I should reveal to you guys what was up with Holly. You see, she was actually cheating on Archie. Her affair partner was a rich man, and my father knew him very well. Turns out, Holly had been sleeping with this man for the past year to get expensive gifts and vacations from him. Archie had no idea about all this. He was told that the trips Holly took were actually to see her sick sister. Nope, she was touring the world with this guy. I told Kyle everything, and we started to collect evidence to expose her. Since we both have good incomes, we were able to hire a personal investigator to follow Holly and collect the proof of her affair. The man was super skilled and managed to give us some great pictures along with details. The good days of Holly were now numbered. Me and Kyle were prepared to see to that. We didn't reveal anything until it was time for the party. Holly did a good job trying to set up a posh party, but she forgot that she had no real experience in organizing big parties. Anyway, when Kyle and I arrived, his parents were happy to see us, for different reasons, of course, while Archie was excited to celebrate our engagement. Holly was curious to see what I was carrying with me. She said very loudly, "Oh my God, here come the two very special people in my life. The life of the party is here, guys. As you all know, my son Kyle is marrying this wonderful woman, Winter. I'm so happy to announce their engagement here today. Welcome to the family, Winter. I hear that you have something to present to us as a welcome gesture." "That is right. I have a nice gift for both you and Archie. Why don't you two open the gift together? Or would you like to go first?" "Oh, I would love to be the first one. Archie is not that into gifts and stuff. You know, Winter, you really didn't have to bring us anything." "It's a special day, Holly. I had to make it memorable, so I got the perfect gift for you and for Archie as well. Go ahead and open it." I handed Holly the gift and encouraged her to open it. She looked very excited and expected jewelry like she had suggested. I had the clever idea of using a nice velvet box to put the special gift in. I do have a flair for drama, so sue me. So Holly opens the box and immediately goes pale. She looks at me with huge eyes and then back at the box. Everyone around us is excited to know what she has received from me. I'm pretty sure that she had told some of her friends how she was getting an expensive gift from her rich daughter-in-law. But now Holly was clutching the box and refusing to show it to anyone. I said, "What's the matter, Holly? Didn't you like my gift? I know you told me to bring something from Cartier, but you also mentioned that it should be the most expensive gift you have ever laid your eyes on. I got you exactly that." What are you talking about, Winter? Holly told you to give her a gift? Yes, she texted me and told me that I needed to bring her a nice gift. She also said that it needed to be the most expensive gift ever. If I didn't listen to her demands, she said that she would ruin my marriage. Holly, you said that to Winter? Why the hell would you do that? And, Winter, you should have come to me about this. You didn't need to bring her a present. Actually, I bought this for you, Archie. I think you should see it. And I would be glad if you would show everyone what I got her. Archie looked at Holly with suspicious eyes and told her to hand over whatever I gave her. Holly looked at him with frightened eyes and refused to hand over the box to him. Archie was getting pissed off at her. He then snatched the box from her and saw what was inside. Inside the box were multiple pictures of Holly kissing and making out with her affair partner. Also, I included some other proof of their romantic trips that our PI sent us. Archie looked at it and screamed at Holly. He said, "What the hell is this, Holly? Are you freaking cheating on me? Answer me, Holly. Don't try to pull away from me. It won't work. Tell me what the hell these pictures mean." Archie, it's not what it looks like. Then what is it like, Holly? These pictures are as clear as day. How do you freaking explain this, Holly? What would she say, Dad? I don't think she has the face to accept her own sins in front of everyone. We hired a private investigator and found the truth. Winter's father had warned her about seeing Mom with one of his colleagues. Sorry, Archie. I didn't want you to find out like this, but I think you and everyone needed to see what kind of a person Holly is. She is playing you, Archie. She is sleeping with someone else and taking money and gifts from him. We have all the proof. Remember how Mom used to visit her sick sister for days? Yeah, Aunt Felix is fine, Dad. She was out on vacation with her affair partner all those times. Archie saw all the proof and looked absolutely furious. The people around us also understood the whole ordeal and started to give Holly disgusted looks. Everyone already knew that Holly was a greedy woman, but today they saw how far she can go to have a good life. Even Archie couldn't oversee that point. He said, "How dare you betray me like this, Holly? 30 years of marriage and you destroyed it for what? Some material things? How greedy can you be, Holly? You even threatened to ruin your son's life if she didn't shower you with expensive stuff? What is freaking wrong with you, woman?" Archie, I'm so sorry. It was a small mistake. Please don't react this way. Trust me, Archie. It was a long time ago. I swear I stopped it very recently. Is that so, Holly? Then why do these pictures have recent timestamps? As far as I know, you took a trip to your sister just last month. We asked your sister and she said that you didn't come to visit her. In fact, she said that she wasn't even sick. Yeah, Aunt Felix is pretty pissed at you, Mom. You better watch out for angry calls on your way. She'll be on your back anytime soon. Holly knew that she had been caught red-handed. She started to cry and tried to get Archie's attention. She knew that she had to try and save her marriage with Archie. She said, "Look, Archie, I accept that I made a big mistake, but it meant nothing to me. Please don't do something drastic because of this. I really love you and I will stop all contact with him, I swear." Don't swear for nothing, Holly. I won't believe your lies anymore. I have been having lingering doubts that you are up to no good. Still, I didn't even think for once that you would cheat on me. Look where your greed has brought you, Holly. Do you think I will stay with you after this? Archie, please don't make rash decisions. We were married for 30 years. You can't throw it away for nothing. Think about this, Archie. You think that cheating on me is nothing, Holly?
Yes, we were married for 30 years, but you were the one who broke our vows. You have no right to tell me what I should do. I'll be divorcing you, Holly. You wanted an expensive gift for Winter, right? She did give you the most expensive gift. Good luck, Holly. You will need to pay your lawyer's fees now. Archie said that and went inside the house. We decided to give him space and didn't want to disturb him. Everyone at the party berated Holly and left as well. Who would want to stay after what went down? When it was our time to leave, Holly tried to pin this all on me. She said, "Winter, you witch! How dare you destroy my marriage? You had no right, Winter. You had no right to do this." Just like you had no right to threaten my marriage, Holly. Why are you so upset? I gave you what you wanted. An expensive gift that cost you your entire marriage. I just did what my dear mother-in-law wanted. You are a horrible, horrible woman, Winter. This is all your fault. I won't spare you if Archie divorces you. You just wait. Stop threatening my fiancé, Mom. This is enough. You have absolutely no shame. After nuking your marriage with your own actions, how dare you try to extract gifts from Winter by threatening our marriage? Winter did the right thing, and Dad is doing the right thing too. As for me, let me just tell you this, Mom. I don't want to stay in contact with you anymore. I'm done with you. You are uninvited from the wedding as well. Don't bother showing up or you will be kicked out. Holly then tried to get Kyle to change his mind. She was a crying mess and confused about what she could do to rectify the whole situation. She was kind of starting to have a breakdown in front of us. Kyle and I simply walked away. We wanted no part of this anymore. The next day, Holly showed up at our door. Apparently, Archie had kicked her out and talked to a lawyer about filing for divorce. Since they had a post-nup in place, there was no way she would get anything out of him. We also live in an at-fault state, so my mother-in-law couldn't do anything to get money or assets out of Archie. She has never worked a day in her life and didn't have much funds to hire a lawyer and fund her daily life. Her affair partner left as soon as she told him about getting caught. He knew that this woman would become a leech on him and he didn't want to marry her anyway. So Holly was stuck with little money and no marriage. I truly did give her the best gift ever. Archie went ahead with the divorce and didn't listen to Holly. We turned her away that day itself and blocked her on all platforms. We even hired security so that she could not show up to our wedding. Our wedding happened without a glitch on our end. Security did their work and threw Holly out when she tried to enter the venue. She was screaming about how we couldn't do this to her. Thankfully, we didn't hear a single word of it. We were busy enjoying our wedding and were given second-hand accounts from other people. As far as I know now, Holly has flown to her sister Felix in a different state. Her sister refused to house her for more than a month. She's now working as a Walmart employee locally and living in a trailer. Me and Kyle are enjoying marital bliss and supporting his father, who's recovering from the effects of Holly's cheating. It looks like Holly will be staying far away from us from now on. Hello guys, my name's Jean and my husband is Zach. I'm using fake names for this story because I don't want to get identified. Let's just say that I like my privacy a bit. Anyway, this story is about my entitled and downright crazy sister-in-law, Sarah. This woman has been the bane of my existence since day one. She hated me and hated the fact that her brother got married before her. After our engagement, she threw multiple fits to get us to cancel our wedding. Thankfully, none of the people around her were on her side. On our wedding day, she took the microphone and announced her engagement to everyone. She even decided to cut our wedding cake before we could. These are just some examples of what Sarah is like. Zach and her parents always spoke against her, but my husband never cut her off. She was his only sibling, so Zach didn't have the heart to abandon her.
We had countless fights about this, but never resolved. Her behavior always escalated and caused trouble for us. She never apologized for creating problems or improved her behavior. Even Sarah's fiance, Cole, was tired of apologizing to us on her behalf. Sarah was overall a very bad person who made my life hell. But I wasn't prepared for just how crazy she was. It all started on the day I announced my pregnancy to her and my in-laws. We already had the baby's gender and decided to reveal it at a family dinner. Everyone was, of course, happy for us and super excited. But Sarah absolutely lost her damn mind. She said, No, there is no freaking way. You are not having a kid before me. This cannot be happening. Sarah, why are you saying stuff like this? It's not a competition to have children. You will have one too when it's the right time. Yes, it's a competition, Zach. I am older than you and deserve to have the first kid in this family. Your witch wife is not taking that away from me. It's bad enough that you got married before me. Sarah, there is no harm in getting married or having a child later. Our child wasn't planned anyway, but we are happy to have him now. Listen to me, Jean. You are not having a child before me. I won't allow it. You need to do something to make this right. You will not have this child. Are you insane, Sarah? What the hell do you want me to do? Make a time machine and go back to the past? You will get rid of it, Jean. I allowed you to get married to my brother, but I won't allow this. You will not have a child first. You will wait till I have my one child. I was baffled by Sarah's horrendous solution to her own problem. I was trying very hard to understand if she was joking or not. She told me to get rid of my child so that she could have the first baby in the family. I was freaking shocked and mad. Judging by the faces of everyone else in the room, they were shocked as well. Zach said, Sarah, this child will be your nephew. How can you say these things about your own blood? I don't care if he is my own blood. I don't want him to be born. It's still early and very few people know. You can get rid of it very easily. Absolutely not, Sarah. We are not getting rid of our child because of your self-created problems. We cannot do that. Yes, you will do that. If you can't do it on your own, I will drag you to a clinic and make you do it. Hell, I will even pay for the entire thing. What the hell is wrong with you? What are you even saying? You should be happy for them, not tell them to get rid of the baby? Suddenly, Sarah was being confronted by everyone in the family. Zach was more heartbroken than mad. Even my in-laws were berating their daughter for being such a horrible person. The entire ambience turned so bad that I and Zach left early. On our way to the house, I made it clear that I wanted nothing to do with Sarah anymore. This time, Zach agreed with me. I was happy that he was finally doing something to stop his wicked sister from ruining our lives. But Zach did 180 within the next 3 months. Sarah didn't reach out to us in these 3 months, so the piece got to Zach's head. He said, Jean, I've been thinking for a while. I think it's time we allow Sarah back into our lives. Why the hell would we do that, Zach? Are you even hearing yourself? Look, I know that you think my sister's crazy and I have my doubts as well, but she hasn't said or done anything in the past 3 months. I really want our child to know their Aunt Jean. She is my only sister. Yes, your only sister who wanted us to get rid of her nephew. Your logic is impeccable, Zach. What happened is in the past now, Jean. I'm sure she has had time to calm down and rethink things. Mom and Dad are also saying that she has come around. Maybe we can give her a chance. Why don't we meet her at the family dinner next week? It's cruel to ask Mom and Dad not to invite her. We can't keep skipping family dinners just because she's there. Zach and I had a long discussion and a mild argument about his logic. However, I could tell that he was determined to bring Sarah back into our lives. I was not on board with his logic, but thought that I could give Sarah a last chance. Besides, I didn't want Zach to blame me for separating him and our son from Sarah, so I agreed to give her a chance. Don't worry, I also promised myself to be cautious. I didn't trust Sarah at all, especially after her outburst. Well, turns out I was right not to trust Sarah. We had the dinner planned and everyone was excited. Even Zach was excited because he thought that this time he would get a positive reaction out of Sarah. I highly doubt that and was proved right a day before the party. It was Cole who called me with the bad news. He said, "Sorry for disturbing you, Jean. I know you're having a hard time with this pregnancy and I don't want to stress you out anymore, but I needed to tell you something."
"What is it, Cole? You sound very upset. You can tell me what's going on."
"It's about Sarah, Jean. She's been making plans to sabotage your pregnancy. I'm afraid she wants to hurt your child."
"What do you mean, Cole? This is a very serious accusation. You need to tell me everything."
"Sarah has told her parents about bringing cupcakes to the dinner. What she didn't tell them is that she has planned to put aspirin in your cupcakes. She knows that the doctor advised you against taking aspirin, and she knows what will happen if you do." So, Sarah wanted to make aspirin-laced cupcakes for me. This woman went to the extent of making a special dish solely to make me lose my baby. When Sarah's fiancé told me about this, I was freaking horrified. He said that he tried his best to stop Sarah from being so vindictive, but he was unsure if Sarah would listen to him at all. He was already getting super frustrated with her and said, "I can understand why you're speechless, Jean. You might think that I'm making stuff up. Believe me, I would have been relieved if this was a joke. Unfortunately, it's not. This has been haunting me for a while, Jean. I knew I needed to tell you." "It's all right, Cole. I really appreciate that you told me about this. You did the right thing. It is difficult to believe that Sarah would go to this extent, but you never know how bad people can be." "Trust me, Jean. I'm horrified by Sarah. I'm thinking long and hard about whether I want to stay with such a sick and twisted person."
"I can understand that, Cole. If I were in your shoes, I would have second thoughts too. She's acting like an insane woman. It's downright scary."
"I knew that, Jean. I have been with her for 5 years. There is a reason why I waited so long to propose to her. I genuinely thought that she was improving. However, now I see that she hasn't improved one bit."
"Look, Cole, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. That is totally up to you. But you need to rethink this relationship for good, or maybe push Sarah for therapy. Anyway, thanks again for telling me, Cole. I will always remember what you did for me today." I said that and hung up. What Cole didn't see was that I was on the verge of having a nervous breakdown. I was alone at home and extremely hormonal. Still, I tried to concentrate on my breathing and stay calm for the sake of my child. There was no way I would do anything to hurt my child. I calmed myself down even though a few tears escaped. I wondered if I should tell Zach about what Cole told me today. Zach still had a lot of love for his sister, especially now that he was going to be a father. I wasn't sure what Zach would do, so I decided to wait till the day of our family dinner. On the day of the dinner, I went to my in-laws' house with a little bit of nervousness. My hormones were all over the place, and I prayed that I wouldn't attack Sarah once I saw her. I was in Mama Bear mode, and the thought of someone hurting my child sent me into a rage. Zach could tell that something was up. He asked me multiple times if I was okay, but I told him that we would talk after dinner. Very unsurprisingly, Sarah and Cole both came for dinner. Sarah was excitedly telling her mom how she was trying a new recipe and made cupcakes for everyone to try. I stayed quiet and stopped myself from beating the shit out of her. Cole also kept looking at me with worried eyes. After dinner,
Sarah presented us all with her special cupcakes. They were rather large cupcakes with a generous amount of buttercream on top. It was so big that she had to serve it on plates. She smirked at me when she handed me my plate. She also kept a plate for herself and went to the kitchen to get a fork. Yes, she eats her cupcakes with forks. When she left, I immediately swapped my plate with hers. No one noticed it, not even Cole. They were busy appreciating the beautiful cupcakes. Sarah came back and we all had the cupcakes. Sarah made a face when she had hers. She immediately looked at me while I smiled sweetly at her. I said, "Is something wrong, Sarah? You don't look too happy with your cupcake. I must say that it is delicious. We all know what a good baker you are. You have outdone yourself." "I know how good my skills are, Jean. You don't have to patronize me. I can tell by looking at everyone that they enjoyed my treat. You are the one who didn't clean your plate." "Oh, you used a lot of chocolate, Sarah. You know it contains caffeine, right? I already had a small bar of chocolate before I came here. I don't want to overdose." "Jean's right, Sarah. Cupcake is good, but she shouldn't be eating it all today. We can't risk hurting the baby." "Sorry about that, Sarah, but by all means finish your cupcake, Sarah. It would be sad to waste such a nice cupcake. I will take mine home and finish it tomorrow." Sarah looked really mad at me and dropped the issue. She reluctantly finished her own cupcake, even though she knew that she had eaten the wrong one by mistake. But she wasn't sure if I was the one who swapped it. Sarah was clever. She added a lot of chocolate and sugar so that the bitterness of the medicines could be reduced. Still, somehow, she could taste it on her cupcake. With her plan failing, she went home early, mad and upset. I was glad that I was able to save myself before anything happened. When we went back home, Zach immediately asked me what was wrong with me today. He said, "You said that you'll tell me what's bothering you. Now that we're home, I don't see why we can't discuss this now." "Zach, I really want to tell you, but I don't know how you'll react to this." "What is it, Jean? I promise I'll stay calm. There's no way I would do or say anything to affect my pregnant wife." "Zach, your sister tried to make me lose our baby. She laced my cupcake with aspirin tablets. Cole told me her plan last night. I avoided taking the cupcake by swapping her plate with mine. Since it's just aspirin, I let Sarah eat her own special cupcake." "What the hell are you saying, Jean? There is no way this is true. I know my sister has been very mean towards you, but she would never do this. This has to be a joke, Jean." Zach and I argued for a long time. I even asked him to talk to Cole and verify the facts. Zach had a hard time believing that Sarah would do something so horrible and twisted. He was in complete disbelief. Just as I was going to call Cole for verification, he called us instead. He seemed panicked and told us to meet him at the hospital. Apparently, Sarah had to be admitted. We rushed to the hospital and found Sarah lying on a bed, crying her eyes out. Even Cole had tears in his eyes and was crying in a corner. When we asked him what happened, Cole started to get really mad. "You want to know what happened? What I told Jean was exactly what happened. Sarah laced Jean's cupcake with medicines to make her lose the child. At the family dinner, Sarah accidentally ate the cupcake made for Jean. Sarah was pregnant and didn't know. We have lost the child due to her psychotic planning." "What? Sarah, is this true?" "Jean told me everything, but I refuse to believe her. Tell me this is not true, Sarah. Don't stay quiet. I want answers. Did you try to hurt my child?" "What will she say, Zach? I don't think she's mentally in the right place to accept her wrongs." Hearing me speak, Sarah started to rage at me. She started to scream and hurl insults at me and the baby in my belly. The things she said were so vile that I cannot put them here. I am sure it will offend and traumatize you guys just like me. The venom Sarah spewed shocked me, Zach and Cole equally. But I didn't have to say anything back. They were quick to step in for me. They said, "You have some nerve talking about my wife and child like that, Sarah. I cannot believe how evil you have become. You are sick and out of your mind, Sarah. I made a mistake by ever allowing you back in my life. I simply wanted my child to have his aunt in his life, but now I see that I invited a monster."
Shut up, Zach. Just shut up. I have had enough of you and your wife talking about the baby. I'm sick of it. I never wanted to be in your damn baby's life. I hate him. And I hate your wife. She should have lost the child, not me.
How dare you, Sarah? How dare you blame Jean for this? This is all your fault. We lost our baby because of your fault. I warned you, begged you not to do this. You didn't listen to me. Did you expect to get away without consequences after planning something so horrible? I was right to do what I did. I wanted to end that child. I'm older and should have been pregnant first. She had no right to steal that from me. I hate her, and I hate her damn baby. If only I had been careful, it would have been her on this bed. You will pay for this, Jean. I will destroy you for killing my child. You must be truly delusional to still blame me for what you did. Had you not made a laced cupcake for me, this wouldn't have happened. It's the universe's way of punishing you for what you tried to do to me. Karma is truly there. No, this is all your fault. I know you must have done something. I made sure you got the laced cupcake. I made sure you would lose the baby. Yes, Sarah, you did everything you could to make me lose my child. Unfortunately for you, Cole told me your plan. At today's dinner, I swapped my plate with yours. I had no idea that you were pregnant, and I am guessing neither did you. After hearing this, Sarah started to scream at me again. She actually tried to get out of bed and lunge at me. Cole caught her and kept her on the bed. Sarah didn't realize that she had confessed to her own evil plans. Zach was furious and said, "That's it, Sarah. I loved you and wanted my child to have an aunt. I got carried away with my emotions and let you around my wife and child again. I had no idea you would go this far to satisfy your ego. What Jean did to you was an accident, but what you did was intentional. There is no way I am ever allowing you in our life again. I am freaking done with you. Cole, I'm sorry, man, but you should really start reevaluating your engagement." You know what, guys? I don't have to think about this anymore. After today, I want nothing to do with you, Sarah. This engagement and relationship are both off. You can keep the ring. I won't stay with anyone who's so hell-bent on ruining others.
You are leaving me, Cole? This is Jean's fault that I lost our child. It was your fault that you leaked my plan to her. You are equally responsible for me losing my child.
How the hell is Cole responsible, Sarah? He tried to stop you multiple times. You were the one who didn't listen. And don't accuse Jean. She is not some psycho who goes around casually plotting to kill babies. You are the one who did this and got trapped in your own plan. Cole, I support your decision to leave my sister. You can move in with us if you need to be away from her. We don't mind. Cole immediately accepted Zach's offer and decided to stay with us for the time being. He was so disgusted with Sarah that he didn't want to be around her anymore. My in-laws came to see Sarah and were given all the sordid details of what transpired. They were horrified to know that their daughter had turned into a psychopath. They supported us, but also decided to take in Sarah at least until she got back on her feet. We made sure that my in-laws would stay with Sarah and then left. In the next few days, there was radio silence from Sarah. My in-laws gave her a stern talk and threatened to kick her out if she didn't keep her mouth shut. They didn't want her to disturb me since she was making some nasty threats towards me. At the end of 2 weeks, they were forced to get her admitted to a psych ward. Apparently, some of Sarah's friends got to know that story and contacted my in-laws to share more tales of Sarah going mad at them and doing nasty stuff. My in-laws finally realized that something was wrong with Sarah and got her admitted to a facility. But Sarah dropped out by herself within a week and threatened them for putting her there. My in-laws were then forced to call the police and get her taken away. They are heartbroken and don't want anything to do with her anymore. Now, let's get on to some good news. I gave birth to a healthy baby boy very recently. The stress from Sarah made me and Zach really anxious till the birth of our son. Things have cooled down now, so I have decided to post the story. Cole is also doing okay and has moved to a place nearby. We have allowed him to meet our child since he has become a friend now. Sarah doesn't contact us anymore since we put a restraining order against her. We used all the evidence from her texts and witness reports from Cole to get the order done. Since Sarah cannot contact us, she posts as her parents sometimes. But my in-laws refuse to enable her anymore and are keeping her out of their lives for good. Hey there, my name's Daphne. I'm a 30-year-old woman who owns and runs a luxurious beach resort in my state. Now, of course, since I'm the owner, I do have a lot more leeway regarding where I can work, and I choose to work from home. Now, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law did not take kindly to that. What followed was months of bullying and getting belittled. But I put them in their place in the best possible way. Let me get started with my story. I grew up in a very business-oriented family. We worked with a variety of industries, but our most profitable business was the hotel and resort industry. I grew up learning about how our business worked. When I turned 16, I began interning at our beachside resort. This resort became my life. I fell in love with it. Greeting clients and managing the accounts became something I looked forward to every day. My parents were beyond happy that I had taken such a keen interest in the family business. So, for my 21st birthday, my parents surprised me with something really big. "Sweetie, your dad and I have been discussing something really big for last year." "Yeah, and we think that you've shown us more than enough potential to do it." "What are you guys talking about?" "Here, these are for you." "What is this?" "We're transferring the ownership of the beachside resort to you." "Are you serious?" "Yes, sweetie, we believe that you deserve it." "I mean, this one's been working on it since she turned 16. I don't think there's anyone else worthy of owning it." "I can't believe it. Oh my God. I promise I won't let you regret this decision." "Oh, we know you won't. You love that place way too much to ever let it go down in flames." I cannot even begin to describe how happy I was when I held the transfer paper on that birthday. Needless to say, I poured my heart and soul into the business. In about a year, business was booming. I had made so much income that I was pretty much settled for life. Of course, that was only possible because of my parents, but I was still really proud of myself. I happened to meet my husband, Brett, through a dating app. It had been about 5 years since I got ownership of the resort. I was thriving financially, but my romantic life was practically tragic. The loneliness began to eat away at me, which was why I signed up for the dating app. Anyway, we ended up matching and then planning on a date. Let me tell you, Brett's profile did not do him any justice because in person, he was 10 times more handsome. He was very charming and chivalrous as well. Obviously, we liked each other, so we went on many more dates. If there was one thing that my parents ingrained into me since a young age, it was to be wary of people. Only because when it came to money, people were never above trying to use you. For the longest time, I tried to dismiss what my parents were saying, but life taught me otherwise. So, even with Brett, I was cautious. We dated for about 4 years before I told him about my wealth. Brett was pretty indifferent towards it, which was what made me even more sure that he was going to be the one for me. He told me over and over again that my wealth wasn't something that was attractive to him but it was who I was. Since I kept my wealth a secret from him for so long, I asked him to never let anyone else find out about it either, and he promised me he would. We got married with a pretty big ceremony. To be fair, most of the guests were far from my side, but regardless, Brett and I had the time of our lives. By the time we had gotten married, I had met Brett's mom, Kim, and his sister, Bree, a handful of times. They seemed pretty decent and not really problematic. They seemed a little awkward, and sometimes I would catch them speaking to each other in hushed whispers while pointing at me and laughing. I ignored it all because it didn't bother me. As long as they weren't actively ruining my relationship with Brett or my life, they could say and do whatever they wanted. Brett was peeved by their behavior, so he was more than understanding when I told him I would keep my distance from them. About 2 weeks after we got married, Brett asked me if his mom and sister could stay with us for a while. So my mom and sister called me today to ask if they could stay over at our place for a while. Oh? Why? Turns out they were a couple of months behind rent and are getting evicted. Oh no, that's horrible. Of course they can stay with us. But how long would they stay for? Mom said about 4 to 5 months. They need to work and save up for a new place. That's doable. But they will need to pick their load up around the house. If they live here, they have to contribute to chores and other things. Yes, of course. I'll make sure it happens. That decision turned out to be a horrible one. For some reason, Kim and Bree were under the impression that Brett owned our house. I did, by the way, not that that was an issue. I just had a lot more income than he did. Brett didn't say anything either because saying something would mean revealing my wealth. And who knew how much Kim and Bree would exploit me after that? They took one look at our place and assumed Brett was earning more money and decided to constantly belittle me. They never did their chores and instead left messes everywhere. No matter how many times Brett asked them to clean up after themselves, they never bothered because we're family. What's the big deal? Because I owned the resort, I had the free will to decide where I wanted to work from, so obviously I chose to work from home. For some reason, Kim didn't believe in working from home, and Bree was just plain disrespectful. Both of them would constantly disrupt me while I was in the middle of sorting through important things. If I had a meeting to attend, they would purposely have me run errands for them right before. If I tried to put up a fight, they would use the excuse of not having money or transportation to do it. What made it even worse was that neither of them were employed, nor were they making any actual efforts to find a job. They happily lived at our place, eating our food, using our utilities. I wouldn't have minded it if they had at least taken responsibility for their messes. I was tired of Kim and Bree looking down on me. I could stand it for a while, but I mean, come on, I live with them and I have to hear their stupid comparisons all day long. All they see is that I'm a stay-at-home wife who sits on her computer and phone all day. They think their son is the one who works really hard and brings home the money. I do not appreciate my husband, but even he knows what the truth is. Brett was just as tired of them as I was. He hated how they made him feel inadequate, even though they weren't doing it intentionally. Most of all, he hated how they didn't value me enough and thought it was okay to just walk all over me that day. It all came to a head one day when I invited some of my friends over for brunch. I told Kim and Bree about my plans and politely asked them to stay away from the common areas for an hour or two because my friends would be over. And then after that, we would all be heading out. They had happily agreed to it. I thought it was weird that they agreed to it so readily, but I decided to be grateful for the lack of fight and just accept it. Well, I found it weird for good reason. It took half an hour of my friends being in the house for Kim and Bree to walk in and introduce themselves. At this point, I'm annoyed. But then it got worse. They started talking about how I was a spoiled brat who only knew how to live off of other people's money. My friends looked wildly uncomfortable, but since they were my close friends, they knew about the details of my relationship with my mother and sister-in-law. My friends sat in an uncomfortable and awkward silence while I was just fuming, listening to Kim and Bree laugh at my expense. I knew that if I gave them a reaction, they would eat it up, so I just got up and grabbed my things. I asked my friends if they wanted to head out, and everyone agreed in a heartbeat. We were out of the door so fast you would have thought the house was burning down, which at that moment, I really wished it did happen. After I came back, I went straight to my room. I didn't think I would have been able to see Kim or Bree until I had calmed down. I was still seething at what they had done. They were beyond disrespectful and I was done with them. I wanted them to see just whose money they were living on. I waited until Brett came home to discuss my plans with him. How's work? It was okay, pretty tired. How was your day? Did Mom do something? Oh yeah. She did kind of cross the line though. Oh no, what did she do? Well, your mom and Bree agreed to remain in their rooms until my friends and I left, but surprise, surprise, they came downstairs. They then began to insult me and make fun of me. Your mom called me a spoiled brat. What the hell is wrong with them? I'm going to go and have a word with them. No, hold on. I have another plan in mind. I just wanted to know if it would be okay with you. I'm intrigued. Go on. How about we take them on a short little vacation to the beachside and we could stay at my resort? Oh my God, that's genius. That will put them in their place for sure. Right. Okay, but this is where my plan may get a little more evil. I think I'll be on board anyway. Go on. What if I don't allow them to stay in there? Like bring them out all the way there and just leave them. We can enjoy ourselves. We can come back and wait till they figure their way back home. Let's do it. They deserve it. Do you want to kick them out too? Honestly, yes. Great. We can do that too. I'm tired of them freeloading off of us. We'll get the eviction notice written up first and then go on our vacation. We can give it to them when we leave them stranded. Why was I even worried about whether you would approve of my plan? We decided to plan the vacation for next week because Brett would have been able to get off then. In that week, I ran by my lawyer and asked him to help me notarize my eviction notice. I was so excited to give it to Kim and Bree. I was finally going to be able to show them the consequences of their actions. Once I had my eviction notice and once Brett got his leave approved, we sat down and figured out our itinerary. We figured that making the vacation look extremely authentic would only make the revenge sweeter. We wanted Brett's mom and sister to feel absolutely torn. At the same time, we knew that this vacation was going to be a starting point for us. We were finally going to be able to live our lives the way we wanted to. I had called my brother to come over and change the locks on my door. I also asked him to bring some of his friends who I would obviously pay over and pack up all of Kim and Bree's stuff from their rooms. I would not allow Kim and Bree back into my life and they would know it. It would take us about half a day to drive over to the beachside. And in all that time, I would let them say and do whatever they wanted. After all, I would be the one who had the last laugh. When we had everything ready, we decided to tell Kim and Bree. So, Daphne and I were thinking of going on vacation. Ooh, to where? Just to the beachside. We were wondering if you guys wanted to join. Whoa, who are you to ask when it's my son's money you're spending? Mom, that's enough. The question was a simple yes or no one. Don't need to make a big fuss about it. Mom was right, Brett. You should be the one asking since you're the one spending the money. If you guys are going to keep this up, I'm going to take it as a no. Forgive us for thinking of you, but we would be glad to join you guys on this vacation. Lord knows we need it after being cooped up in this house with Daphne.
If you're going to be this way, I don't think I'd be comfortable with you coming along. Oh, please don't even try to have a say in this. My son has asked us to come along, so we will go. You just have to deal with it. I was irritated. I could see that Brett was too. The amount of entitlement those two carried around with them was actually astonishing. The only thing that allowed me to keep cool was the plan. I knew I'd have to hear a lot of insults and taunts, but I was ready for it. So we're set to go for our vacation that weekend. Kim and Bree were yapping our ears off, but every once in a while, Brett and I would shoot each other knowing looks. When we finally reached there, Kim and Bree looked at the resort with their mouths wide open. They began loudly discussing how beautiful the resort looked. They kept pausing Brett because they were proud that he could afford for them to go to such a luxurious resort. Brett kept his head down in embarrassment. Kim and Bree also didn't fail to make me feel inadequate. They kept telling me to be grateful that Brett invited me along because I was very undeserving of everything Brett did for me. I held my head up high as I walked through the doors into the resort. Kim and Bree walked behind me, taunting me all along, while Brett waited with the bellhop to unload our things. As soon as I got to the receptionist greeted me by referring to me as boss. Boss? Excuse me, but who are you referring to as boss? Oh, I was referring to Miss Daphne. You clearly can't tell the rich from the poor. If there's anyone you should be referring to as boss, it's us. I'm sorry, but Miss Daphne is quite literally my boss. What? Look, if this is some sick joke, I want to speak to your manager. The highest authority of this establishment just walked in with you, Mom. I don't think there's much my manager can do for you. Both of their faces paled. They tried to argue about it further with the receptionist, but she continued to stand her ground about me being the owner of the resort. I just stood and watched them stutter and fumble their words as the realization of how they had been treating me started to kick in. I guess they started to put two and two together as they realized that all the time I spent on my phone and laptop was not actually lazing about, but me actually working and earning money. When Brett walked in, they immediately went to him and began to yell at him. How could you lie to us? What are you talking about? Don't try to act smart. How come you never told us that your wife was the owner of this resort and probably filthy rich? Why should I be the one to tell you about other people's business? It was not my place to say anything. You've embarrassed us. All this time, if we had known, what? You would have treated me nicer? No need to be rude about it. If you needed to know about my social status and earnings for you to treat me like a decent human being, then I don't want either of you to be a part of our lives. You don't get to decide for my son. Tell her, Brett. Actually, Mom, she has a point. Are you seriously taking her side over ours? I've told both of you time and again to stop being mean to Daphne, but not once have you listened. You only stopped doing it in front of me. That was beyond disrespectful. I don't want to have anything to do with either of you. Here is your eviction notice. When you return back, you'll find all of your things packed and out of the house. Don't bother trying to enter the house. I made sure to have all the locks changed. All the best on your journey back. You're leaving us just like that? You can't do that. We're family. If family actually meant something to you, you wouldn't have treated me this way. But we don't have any way to get back home. At least let us stay here. Well, here's $100. Figure your way back home. Goodbye now. The look of pure shock on Kim and Bree's face was so satisfying. I couldn't believe I was finally going to be able to get rid of them. I finally don't have to constantly look over my shoulder in my own home. My home can finally become my safe space once again.
Brett was in the same boat. He felt free too. I knew it because I could see how happy he was. He had a bounce in his step and he was super smiley and laughy. I loved seeing him that way. Our mini vacation went super well. We had the time of our lives, and when it was time to go, we were actually excited to go back home for the first time in a while. It's been about 6 months since all of this happened, and let me tell you, I'm never giving up my peace of mind for family. I mean it in the way that bullies in families are the worst, and I will never help them out again. I'm just grateful my husband was on board with everything and had my back. I don't know much about what happened to Kim and Bree after everything. When we came back, all their stuff was gone, so I knew that they had managed to find a way to get back. Later, Brett had gotten calls from several family members about him abandoning his mother and sister after lying to and manipulating them. Brett obviously did not let his mom and sister's lies live. He provided proof and cleared our names. As far as I know, Kim and Bree have been cast out by the entire family, and none of them want to help them out. I'm glad Brett and I managed to get rid of the biggest source of toxicity in our lives. We are happier and livelier now, and I couldn't have life go any other way. Thanks for listening.